Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good evening to all of you. Hopefully, all of you are doing well. Love to hear if you're doing all right, and we wish you all the best. We are back with another episode of the Bread Report and Pokemon Truth Media. So, over the past few days, let's get started with the big TCG news. The Pokemon set for the next Scarlet and Violet era of cards, Paldea Evolved, has hit all retailers and stores today. This marks the second series in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet era of cards, and it will again feature some EX cards such as Tianpao, Tinglu, the Paldean starters, as well as the Hold Your Applause, everyone. Hold Your Applause Twitch mods and Discord mods. We have the Iono alt art card. This card is projected to be the big one of this set. It's already going up past about 100 plus USD over in Japan when its equivalent set was released. And the so-called waifu tax is strong with this card, and yeah, it's just going to be our chase one for this set. It looks like people are pulling it online like crazy, and yeah, if you're a streamer or if you're a Twitch mod, you're going to be wanting this Iono card, I bet. Alright, let's go to some news on the VGC side of things. We were following this story where a top four of this reign of Korean players during the VGC over there in their country. These four players were in like the semifinals, and they're all disqualified from all future VGC related material. Did the Pokemon Company once again put the cart before the Mudsdale? Or is there something else at play here? So we went to Twitter, and this is the post and official statement from Nash VGC, one of the people involved in the banning for using a Metronome team. In this post on his Twitter, he reads, and I quote, "I've been asked a lot what's been happening in Korea and how we ended up locking in Metronome in national finals, only to be disqualified for doing so. I'm writing this down to explain those interested. So I'm not sure if you've been catching up with these issues all around Asian circuit. Like other Asian regions, Korea has been having a rather suffering year. Here are some major events that happened in sequential order. Before we go, and a little bit background, the Korean VGC format. Before COVID, we used to have 3 different real-life events that led up to the finals, and the circuit point is exclusive in Korea, and looks like they had a last event where it was a Trainers Cup each year. That sounds interesting. And then he goes on to say, last year when Worlds was back, players were curious as to how Pokemon Korea plans to get invites. No explanations were made, and they proceeded with the Trainers Cup online tour like before. After the tour, they suddenly announced that the top 4 of Trainers Cup will be invited to Day 2 at Worlds. This was excluding juniors and seniors since the tour was only eligible for masters. This year again, they announced nothing until March. In March, they announced that our circuit will be written here, so they're just going over the different circuits and their circuit points are used for these VGC events. But we get down to these last couple of paragraphs on Nash VGC's statement on Twitter. And again, I quote, basically they gave invites to Trainers Cup for the top 50 Korean players of each global challenge, and then the 150 players compete in the 801 ladder tour. Top 4 gets day 2, top 16 gets day 1. People were very frustrated that we were deciding everything in just 10 games of ladder. Also, this format is vulnerable to sub-accounts and match manipulation. Oh gosh, look at that. I bet any of the Realisify viewers in the chat just trembled in fear. Match manipulation, that sounds like Pokegen and hacking. Oh no. Alright, let's keep going on here. We don't want to put the cart before the Mudsdale, as the Pokemon people have said before, so let's keep reading on. And then, just like Japan Rizzo experienced this, we had multiple issues. People were getting rematch after rematch and could not stop playing during the tour. Pokemon Korea decided that this tour is invalid and the top 16 from this tour will get unqualified. People who went top 16 have demanded compensation. Pokemon Korea decided to give them an invite to next year's Trainers Cup. Alright. So, again, the 4 trainers in this most recent incident, so Blue, Sangyun, the Nash VGC guy, and Mija, were in the top 4 of the second ladder tour, which meant that they are secured day 2 invites. But in order to do that, they say we had to show up at the Trainer Cup final round, a streamed match. It's just a final round that decides first to fourth with some nice prizes, but we're already locked in day 2, so not much was at stake. The 4 decided to go on Metronome battle to protest against all these issues within our community. No in-real-life events, constant problems in the tour system, disregarding younger divisions, absurd compensations for the problems they cause. But the real problem behind all this is that they show absolute disrespect to our players, which comes down to the line where I'm a big proponent of sportsmanship and the restoration of sportsmanship in all things video games, actual sports, anything like that, any competition. I think sportsmanship and respect should be centerpiece to the whole operation. We've seen some foul play on both players' side with some of the cheating stuff that has been going on in VGC, as well as the card game scandals, with the person looking at their prize cards and then using Irida to pick up 2 items and whatnot. We saw that earlier, but then also if you go on Pokemon Unite has basically became 4chan with all of its toxicity, and it's incorrect. You have newer players coming into these different incidents where they're just gate-kept and all this toxicity, and a bunch of false reporting has also been happening on Pokemon Unite, and even in VGC, like, the cheating that's been going around, as well as just the blatant lack of sportsmanship and lack of respect, which is very, very disheartening as a person who's been in the Pokemon community for so long. I thought this franchise and the community was based off of respect and friendship and working together, and hopefully my message from this is hopefully we could all return back to those times, because I think everyone is able to enjoy Pokemon if we're all respectful and sportsmanship is in play and all that fun stuff. So let's continue with this. During this week, again, I'm quoting Nash Plays Pokemon on his Twitter statement. During this week, Pokemon Korea suddenly sends an email to Blue disqualifying them without telling him why. When he called them to ask why, they refused to answer. So it looks like they're playing the soundproof ability. They immediately gave his day 2 to another player. The other player with the 3 of us, so the Metronome battle was to proceed, because this new player agreed to do the Metronome battle that the rest of them were trying out. We had to lock in an in-game online tour system beforehand, so we did that yesterday, and as of this post, it wasn't yesterday because this is taking place earlier, but it's just coming forward now, 2nd of June, that's when it originally happened. We were supposed to battle on the 4th, so on the 3rd, all 4 players were sent an email along with the notice on the official website in Pokemon Korea, informing us that all 4 of us were disqualified. So all 4 of these trainers and participants in that cup were disqualified. The reasoning behind it was that we all locked in Pokemon that learned one specific move. Okay, so it looks like here it's just targeting Metronome, which is insane. It's not even a banned move or anything. It's all up to chance. It's like the fissure thing with the recent VGCs here in the United States, people got mad at Fissure. Well, it's a 30% chance of working or not. And again, it goes back to the sportsmanship thing. Unless they were cheating, I don't see anything wrong with using Fissure, you know. It's a chance move. You have a 70% chance of avoiding it. Anyway, so let's continue. According to Pokemon Korea, this falls into prohibited acts written below. An act of causing harm to other participants or given an offensive image. So I guess wagging a finger and then your Pokemon using something like Thunderbolt or Ally Switch or Protect because they wag their finger like this. I guess that's apparently an offensive image in a Pokemon battle. Or they just flat out don't like Metronome. Who knows for sure? I don't want to take any sides right now because there's a ton of this to unpack and other YouTubers who have probably talked about it in much more detail. I'm just giving you like the bare bones. Please go up and watch more content on this interesting controversy. I highly recommend that. They close out with Pokemon Korea saw our teams didn't like it and therefore disqualified all 4 of us after we were playing Metronome. So again, that move where you just wag your finger and then you get a random move. Apparently, did not like that. But let's not point any fingers right now because we don't know all of it, what's going on in this controversy. So I don't want to be pulling the cart ahead of the Mudsdale here, but let's just wait and see what happens. Let's stay informed, check out other sources, see what else is going on. And back on Twitter, we have Metronome's Strongest, aka that guy in a beanie, BNI. He has this cool team here, which is a rental team, where it's literally a Metronome VGC battle spot team that you could use in Scarlet and Violet if you want to try out Metronome for yourself. The team ID, basically the rental code, is 9x5VFN. So if you enter that in your online battle thing in the game, you could use this Metronome team as a rental team and try it out online. Metronome is a pretty fun move, actually. I've used it before in Soul Silver when I played through it. The craziest thing I've got with Metronome was a Roar of Time, and it was like on a, what was it, like a level 14 Clefairy. Yeah, it was a Clefairy. It was like level 14 or something, and then it just uses Roar of Time. I was like, whoa, that's what's possible with Pokemon, you know? Alright, so on this team you have a Gothitelle, a Florges, an Arboliva, a Slowbro, a Poltegeist, and an Iron Hands. All of them have Metronome, so have fun there. Again, the team ID, if you want to try this out for yourself, is 9x5VFN. And this is from that guy with a beanie on Twitter. Very interesting move. Very interesting team. Again, Metronome is a very interesting attack in the Pokemon game. You could pull out almost any move from it, and it's just by chance if you get something very wacky like a signature move or something like that. Like that Clefairy that was level 14 and uses Roar of Time. More people are just going on this on Twitter. If you want to see more, just type on the search bar, just type in Metronome, and then you'll find even more information that's good. Also on YouTube, there's people who have their own deep dives into this. I highly recommend them. Alrighty, speaking of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they actually have another one of those event Pokemon. Now I say Pokemon, and unfortunately, they're not probably going down the route of giving away a shiny or giving away a legendary and or a mythical anytime soon. We've seen that with the previous ones, which were just TMs, like Bulldoze and Rock Slide. I think those were the last previous ones there. Not exactly a legendary, but looks like they're a ship that was the free legendary or the free shiny Pokemon. I think that ship has unfortunately sailed. However, they do have a cool, interesting Pokemon this time in their giveaways. If you go on the online events and you type in the mystery gift serial code 22 Senior Champ, you'll be able to receive a Bronzong that was used by the 2022 Senior World Champion. Sorry if I am butchering this name, I apologize. Yasuharu Shimizu, and this Bronzong, it had the moveset. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to find the moveset here. Okay, it's all the way at the bottom, I think. Almost have it. It's a Bronzong and has a competitive moveset here. We have Flash Cannon, Gyro Ball, Psychic, and Hypnosis. It has the Levitate ability. Terra type is Psychic, no held item. Alright, so there's the serial code for that. Again, it's 22 Senior Champ, and this event ends June 11th at 14:59 UTC, according to Cerebi. Alright, well, that's all the updates in the Pokemon community right now, other than the Pokemon Unite Leafeon release, which was a few days ago. Another evolution added to the mix. Will it be overpowered? Who knows? We'll just have to see. Alright, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please take good care of yourselves and your loved ones. Please do something nice for someone. I'll catch you all later. Thank you so much. Good night.